Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube, and welcome back to Ringlight Fables. I'm your host and dungeon master, Skijaramaz, otherwise known as Toneshift, and with me today we have our full cast of players. We have SepiaWolfe playing Tuki Fletcher, our Crovan thief.
Survived.
We have Mick playing Boron, our half-dwarf battlemaster.
Salutations.
Yes. We have Willyzin playing Ludviek, our Rythari paladin.
Hail!
We have Goldwyn playing Minnove, our kobold bard.
Hello!
And last but certainly not least, we have Impulsive playing Kari, our Crovan bard, who is actually able to roll for himself today.
Why am I always the last one?
Because you were the last one to have your character sheet ready.
Why was I the last one to have my character sheet ready?
I don't know. You tell me, Buster. The justification for that one is squarely on you.
All right, YouTube, who wants to be sitting here for the next 3 hours for this in-depth
No,
explanation? Pull up your chair, kiddos. Get ready.
So,
Only for the Patreon.
this isn't going to be on Patreon. Unless it spontaneously starts doing really, really fucking well, which I do not foresee, but it's possible, I suppose. Anything can happen.
Never put yourself down.
I was mostly joking. I was like, haha.
Congratulations. Anyway. So, where last we left off. Our party of recently come together adventurers, having arrived in the village of Lambsong while en route to the academy city of Asmara, found themselves getting caught up in the troubles of the small village as, according to a mercenary band overseeing the local area, a beast from the world below known as a Lugarith had started causing trouble and attacking the locals. A story that has fallen further and further into question as the party has begun to investigate. First seeing no conventional signs of animalistic behavior in the house of its most recent victims, the Barrowsmoths, and the fact that the Barrowsmoth's son, a young boy, has been taken, but a lack of any signs of blood indicates unharmed, pointing to possibly a kidnapping, or at the very least, the Lugarith wanting to feed young of its own. Following the scent left behind by this abduction, whatever the reality of it may be, the party eventually located a clearing in which numerous scents mingled, discernible thanks to the preternaturally powerful sense of smell kobolds have, which Minnove Ringdancer has been able to take advantage of, trivializing a lot of what would stump other investigators. Following the scent further, where the paths mingled and diverged of several different scents, Minnove gradually led the group, briefly encountering a pack of resting wolves that Ludviek was able to compel with a bit of magic into not being hostile as the party passed, and bending in a gradual curve around Lambsong, moving south to the other side, and then into the foothills of the mountains that loom across Valreef's southern border. And in those first shallowy foothills, the old ruins of a long-abandoned military tower eventually became visible among the crags, and the scent of the abducted boy led there. Determining that they need to investigate this further, Tuki Fletcher took it upon herself to sneak in and scout things out, and discovered that the individuals who have taken up residence in this tower seem to match up, at least in terms of their basic level of equipment, with the mercs maintaining a defensive perimeter around Lamsong, and have established a fairly cozy camp around the village, around the tower, rather. Unfortunately, Tuki's skulking was uncovered due to a bad roll on her part and a good roll on the part of the local sentries, who were able to, more or less, track her, or chase her through the forestation, at least for a bit, until, with some good rolls on her part, the dash ability that comes with being a rogue, and lighting a tree on fire, Tuki was eventually able to evade the eyes and ears of her pursuers. As a result, the encampment was put on alert, but were not able to locate Tuki. Wishing to capitalize on the fact that the group is very confident that this is where the boy is being held, the party split up into two groups. Ludviek, Boron, and Kari took the fore to approach the encampment from its front primary entrance, whilst Tuki and Minnove skulked off to the side to keep a bird's eye view on things and provide ranged support if it should become needed. Probably a wise call, all things considered. Upon speaking with the sentries overseeing the front entrance of this encampment, the party had to deal with suspicion and a refusal to cooperate until Kari was able to sneakily deploy the effects of a charm person spell, enabling Ludviek, and by extension the rest of the party, to gruffly sweet-tooth their way into the encampment under the disguise of pursuing a Krovan fugitive, providing an alibi for Tuki's previous momentary moment of being uncovered, and that it would be more expedient to just cut through the middle of the camp and keep going to keep up with the search rather than go around. And it was as the party was being guided in to this encampment to just be on their way that we shall begin. So, let's just park the camera right there. You follow the two men who have taken up positions beside you, cutting your way sort of through this long trench, sort of winding like the slithering path of a snake, gradually ascending up the sort of rocky slopes and bluffs, seemingly en route to a shallow path that might take you further south past the edges of the encampment. Minnove and Tuki, I assume, are maintaining their positions or following along as close as they can.
Yeah, I'd say so. Keeping quiet. Keeping an eye.
All right. So, just as you are coming around a bend where an old, partially broken down wooden fence has been sort of staked into the earth to your left long ago, you're rounding the bend. There's still the hubbub of activity in the encampment from earlier when, as you're sort of coming around, you see, dutifully sort of marching in your general direction and drawing to a halt on seeing you three, the tall and broad frame of Jaka, the Krovan who seems to be the leader of this band. He blinks and recoils slightly, and a addresses one of the merc that was charmed by Kari leading you. Who the hell are these people? What are they doing here? They wouldn't leave us alone at the front gates. I'm just ushering them through to the other side. I gave you explicit orders not to let anyone in. What the hell are you doing? And then he turns his attention to the rest of you. Kari, currently in front. You three, explain yourselves. Now.
Your time to shine, Kari.
Yes, you see, there is a third Croven, apparently. I did not know there were so many in this area. A Croven who owes me a debt and has scampered off into the forest, and we've tracked her through up to the boundaries of this here encampment. And from all of our investigating, it seems that she made her way significantly closer to here, and we're just looking for her so that we can get that debt repaid.
Jaka narrows his eyes at you. I would like you to make a deception check for me, Kari. 8.
Don't you have that feature that you can't roll below 10?
I don't think.
Higher
Me?
level stuff.
I think that's a
thought so,
higher level
but-
thing. That's not level
Okay.
3.
All right.
Yeah, that's reliable talent, and that's a higher level. Rogues get it too. Well, Jaka does not seem convinced. In the time it would have taken you to argue with my guards about it at the front bridge, and then halt to have this conversation with me in the first place, you easily could have gone around several times. So I
It's
shall
awfully
ask
presumptuous of you. Please don't interrupt me, sir. I began speaking. You were the one that stopped us to talk to you. I had no such inclination, personally, and not only that, it was only a brief conversation over by the bridge. There was hardly any argument at all.
Jaka
So if anything,
glances
you're the
at-
one that's causing the delay in my own activities.
I'll concede that I initiated this conversation, though I would advise you to mind your tongue. After all, you are in my encampment.
Oh, if you say so. All right.
Now then,
No.
if you are, as you say, tracking another Crovan fugitive, and he turns and sort of points sort of in the direction you'd already been going, then go and be gone.
Thank you for your hospitality. And he's going to continue walking.
This entire time they were having this conversation, I basically would like to be looking at, without making it obvious that I'm looking, I would like to try and see if I can spot anything that may seem, a place you might be holding somebody. Maybe a cell or a storage shed, or maybe even a certain area they seem to have guards posted at.
Make for me a perception check.
Alrighty.
And to try and make it subtle, make for me a stealth check at the same time.
Okay, stealth check. Oh man. Perception.
Alright.
Not subtle at all.
That's not great at all. So, look at casting your eyes about. Also, real quick, before we proceed, just want to make sure everyone else... Is anyone else hearing an occasional buzzing sound?
I'm not.
I'm
Not
not.
I was
really.
hearing like a creak, like a chair.
That's me.
Okay, if anyone hears an electrical buzzing, let me know. I'll call it out when it happens again. Otherwise, it's an issue with my headset that I'll need to unplug and replug it back in to fix, so... Alright, so, you're not terribly subtle in your looking around with a 4 in stealth, but with a 13 in perception, there aren't a whole lot of structures around here. The only one really is the tower that seems to have largely crumbled upon itself. But there are like a few tents around with a few campfires sort of blazing with little pots sort of bubbling over them, and a handful of crates stacked up not terribly far from the front entrance of the tower, which I'd say is about, from where you guys are, maybe like about 200 feet.
Okay.
So you're not seeing any cages or sheds or anything of the sort, just environment. There was the buzzing.
Nope.
Didn't hear a thing. Nope.
Okay, that is decidedly on my end then. Give me a moment. I'm going to pause the recording real quick while I fix that. Shouldn't take long. All right. Sorry about that. Back to it. So. So, you are proceeding on your way following Kari?
Yes.
That sounds
All right.
like a good idea.
All right. So, Minnove and Tuki, you can see this going on. Sort of just barely make out the bulk of the conversation, so.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Would I be able to, like, kind of see if I recognize, like, which way the smell is coming of the boy?
It is
Or am
being
I too
obscured
kinda
by
far?
it's you're too far away from in anywhere where the smell might have started to settle, and there's a lot of other scents mingling in the area that are sort of scrambling your senses a little bit.
Yeah.
To the best of your ability, the smell leads to this area, but beyond that, you don't know.
Okay.
Let's see here. While we're with you two, Tuki and Minnove, could I have you to roll for me a perception check?
Can I give Tuki bardic inspiration for this?
You may.
By, like, winking, I guess?
I suppose. I'll just settle for, like, it's comforting to know that she has backup right now. Not that she really needs any. That's a natural 20 for a total of 23.
She's great.
Save that inspiration for later.
All right, so a 6 from Minnove and a 23 from Tuki. Tuki, you're still kind of on edge. You're still sort of rattled from earlier when you were caught and chased, and it sort of dredged up some uncomfortable memories you'd rather not deal with. And so you are hyper-attuned, hypersensitive to your surroundings. And you hear footsteps approaching from the south, maybe about 80 feet away, about to come up over a shallow sort of dip in the terrain clustered by some trees. You and Minnove at present are currently hunkered down by a tree with some shrubbery underneath it to provide you cover, but you are right in the open if whoever those footsteps belong to comes over top. You have a moment to react, and Minnove is oblivious.
Minnove is like, wow, look at the colors of the planet.
Minnove is like, Jaka, that piece of shit, I knew he was crooked.
Right? She sees Jaka and is like, I fucking knew it.
Tuki's gonna tap Minnove to get her attention. Make a shushing motion, like finger up to the beak, and then kind of roll into the shrubbery.
All right. So the two of you kind of duck down a little bit into another sort of shallow sort of crevice in the terrain. It's very, like, uneven, very rocky terrain, so there's plenty of little nooks and crannies. Let me double check something here, because I think that, like, sort of with what is around you, you would be classified as being obscured right now.
Ooh.
Here, quick question. Can I see who's coming or no?
You cannot see them yet.
Okay.
So yeah, you would be considered lightly obscured. So creatures, so I'll give you 2 advantage on your stealth checks to roll here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Tuki got a 23 and a... All right, that's damn good. Damn! You had bad luck last session, but this time it's like, we saved it all for this bit. So you two are completely... You two pretty much just meld into the darkness as these two seemingly patrolling mercs maintaining a perimeter just gradually walk by where you are, sort of following the rocky ridge that surrounds the encampment and carry on their way, completely oblivious to your presence.
Alright. Good spot there.
So, Boron, Kari, and Ludviek, if you are continuing to follow the guidance of the mercs escorting you, follow a sort of rocky little slope up and down towards the south, heading towards the tree line that sits at the southern end of the encampment. Is there anything else that you three wish to do during this little maneuver? Or are you just going?
I assume at this point we're moving further away from the ruin itself, right?
You're kind of moving perpendicular to the tower, but if you keep going the direction you're going, you're going to start moving away from it.
Okay, and we haven't gotten a better look at like any activity from inside that, I assume, right?
No.
Even though it is collapsed, no. Oh, okay.
There is an interior that is presumably usable. You can kind of see through a couple of like arrow slits that there's like a bit of flickering firelight coming from inside, but you don't have a good angle from here to see anything more than that.
All right.
Okay.
It's like someone just came by. Go ahead, Boron.
I was trying to judge, first of all, how many there may be here, just on the amount of beddings and things like that. And does this look like any mercenary camp I've seen before? Because I'm getting the vibe that this is like more bandit territory.
Right. Well, as far as getting an idea of how many there are, make perception or investigation your choice. 9. You can see 3 tents. Those tents could each have anywhere from 2 to 4 bedrolls in them, depending on how comfortable these guys are with personal space. So,
yeah.
And you can't see more than that, but there might be. You've only gotten a glimpse of the area, not a full tour. So,
of course.
As for whether or not you are familiar with this as a mercenary encampment, I'm not even going to prompt a roll for this. You've been in the profession long enough. You see no identifying symbols anywhere. Their attire is uniform in the sense that they have the same basic standard of equipment, but you're not seeing matching colors or matching badges or anything like that. It very much gives you the impression of a very ramshackle, or at the very least, loosely organized operation. This isn't like an officially sanctioned military operation.
Okay. But, as...
What about number? Were you able to figure that out?
I'd say about up to 20, more or less, from what I've seen so far.
You haven't seen that many in this encampment, but also a fair few of them are back at town, so...
Yeah, there are a couple of in town, there may be a couple in the tower, things like that.
All right. How many are following us currently right now as we're moving?
You have one on either side of you. The two that you talked to back at the at the bridge gate scenario, sort of escorting you to the
unguarded right now.
The bridge has the initial bridge still has one guard on it.
Okay.
Okay.
At least there was one last you checked. There is now currently a jutting slope of rock and trees blocking your line of sight.
All right. And I assume Jaka hasn't been following us. He staying back at the main camp part right there.
He's not following you, no.
Okay.
But he is keeping an eye on you.
Okay, so we're still within eye shot. All right.
Yeah. You're about to phase into the tree line.
Should, can Minnove turn to Tuki for a second?
Sure, the patrol's kind of past you at this point. If you speak in whispers, you're not likely to be discovered.
All right. Should we start some shit or what? They're just gonna walk right through the camp.
What kind of stuff are you thinking?
Well, could try some spookage, scaring. It's nighttime. Who knows, right? You can make sounds of things you've heard, correct?
Yes. Not too difficult.
Well, what if... Alright, hear me out. What if we make something very scary in appearance and or at least feel like there's some kind of danger outside?
Do you want me to try? I can't really throw my voice, so whatever sound I make still comes directly from exactly where I am.
Oh.
Mimic, not a ventriloquist.
Huh. Well, that sucks.
That's a brilliant plan, but it's not going to work if you can't throw your voice.
No worries.
Does prestidigitation allow you to throw your voice?
Prestidigitation can do basically fucking anything, can it?
Yeah,
I think thaumaturgy specifically says you can throw your voice.
It amplifies the volume of your voice, at least.
Well, I have prestidigitation, and unless I can make the... I have an idea. What if I just Dutch oven the entire camp?
Dutch oven?
She wants to unleash a fart bomb.
I know that definition of Dutch oven. There's more than one, so I wanted to be sure.
But here, I think a better idea. Maybe. Do you think you could blend in? No, you can't. They've seen your fucking face.
Well, it's a little difficult for Kraven, regardless, just because speak.
Yeah, it seems like basically all of these guys except for Jaka are humans, so.
Damn it. The one time where you need a human.
In a party that has precisely 0 of them.
I'd like to remind myself with a glance, does Boron have a ranged implement?
He's got javelins.
Javelins, okay. We both got javelins. All right.
Let's go hunting.
Let's go gambling.
I got a feeling we're about to do some gambling.
You know what? We'll let them run their course. When in doubt, I'll just go balls a-blazing.
I'd like to make a motion to Boron without having the guards see us, of just like basically when we're out of sight, knock the guys that are with us unconscious. And see if does he agree to that idea?
It's kind of hard to communicate that with hand signs. Especially when you've known each other for a weekend.
Right.
Like we've been running this game for this is session 5. So this technically speaking, 1 week a session if we hadn't had that half a year break in the session 2. We've been playing for a few months, but in universe this whole campaign so far has taken place over the course of maybe 24 hours. It's been a very busy day.
Ludviek just makes some nods of his head, and Boron's like, "What the fuck?"
Precisely.
It's like,
Then again, we've been on the road for a week, didn't we?
Not a week. It was like a couple of days from Kanala's Rest.
Okay.
It took as long as it did, mostly because you had to travel at half speed because Donald is, like, made of twigs and tissue paper, so...
Yeah. All right, well then, I guess what I'd at least like to do with Ludviek is just continue until the main camp has lost sight of us. And I assume the direction we're going, we might have another guard on this end, but...
Well, you're making some assumptions that are going to turn out not to be true. As you are being sort of escorted to the southern edge of the encampment, sort of still within sight of basically everyone else, the guards escorting you sort of gradually come to a stop. The one you charmed sort of gesture south. All right, there you go. Let's head on through. And ideally we can put all this unpleasantness behind us, eh?
Right.
To which Ludviek nods and says, hopefully our quarry hasn't gotten too far.
Well, hopefully. We were here only a few minutes ago, so...
To which you said, we're still in sight of the rest of the camp, right?
Yeah, you have at least 5 pairs of eyes on you right now.
Okay.
So
right.
you don't have much room to do stealthy shit, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that we're any good at stealthy shits.
Not
we
really,
would be
no.
The other group.
And to which, yeah.
These guys might not necessarily be, like, supremely well organized necessarily, but it seems they're not necessarily stupid when it comes to managing foreign elements inside the boundaries of their encampment.
Well.
Or so are you? Did they walk through the?
Yeah, we walked through the encampment entirely. Now we're in the south side, and we're basically within sight of everybody. Okay. I want Ludviek to, as they walk forward another 10 feet, I want him to put his hand out and stop Boron, and I want him to bend down and like look at the ground like he's seeing tracks. And he just says, "Look, do you see this?" Just looks at Boron, and he's pointing down there. Like he gives Boron a wink with the eye looking away from the group, so hopefully they don't see the wink as well.
Okay. I'm gonna say Boron doesn't really catch the wink, but checks out the ground nonetheless.
All right.
He's like, "These tracks, they're Kraven tracks, and too small for the one that was in camp. It leads back into camp."
Okay. You say so.
And to which then, I mean, are we far? Yeah, we're 10 feet away. I just wanted to quickly whisper, "Are we going to take these guys on, or are we going to get out of here? What do you think?"
Get out.
Can Kari overhear this?
I'm assuming Kari is in on this conversation. You were traveling as a unit.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was just like a formation thing where there was just them whispering between the two of them and he couldn't hear or whatnot.
I would assume Kari got down when we were squatting down, like looking at the quote-unquote tracks.
It's like your two friends pop a squat and start talking. What else are you going to do but join them?
Fair enough. So then he's going to say, "You see, I almost wish we could have had Tuki cause a distraction or something as we were exiting, just so there would be a little more legitimacy to our claim and, an excuse for us to hang around, but we didn't talk about that beforehand."
No. Problem is, the longer we stay here in Terry, the more they get suspicious. And if they do have the boy, well, unfortunately, we don't know. Minnove's not with us. We don't have our bloodhound. So, either we force the point, or try stealth again.
Can
To which end, Ludviek just looks to Boron and says, "So, Do you think we try our luck, or try and meet up with the other two?
Meet up.
Probably best idea. And Ludviek is what it's like, and he just basically says a lot. I have trail. Let's go. He just moves off further south into the thicker part of the tree line.
All right.
And Kari's gonna follow.
And I would say when we're probably about far enough away that vision is obscured, would like to loop back in the general direction of which probably Tuki and Minnove would have been following, which I assume they would have been limited by the geography.
To an extent, yeah.
So,
like the whole area is it's almost like you have kind of like a narrow corridor sort of gouged into an otherwise just set of rocky plateaus that is where the dirt path sort of follows. Mm-hmm. So they were kind of at the top of the platforms that surround the corridor path. And they were west of you, so.
And we went through the corridor itself. Right.
Yeah, you went through the corridor and took an off-ramp out of the corridor. And Tuki and Minnove, you, of course, had eyes on this after the patrol passed you by. So, you are free to basically find a way to link back up with them if you so wish.
Minnove is going to be a little hesitant as she's, like, kind of figuring out a plan in her brain. But then we'll...
What are you thinking?
What
are you thinking?
Well... I don't see any way for us to stay in the camp whilst being unresisted or tied up or arrested. So, I think the best way to find the boy is to get caught.
There is that. I also was thinking. It looks like the others have gone through. Perhaps we can play up my part as a fugitive. And once we link up back with them, I just run straight into camp and through. And you can all chase me. She does in air quotes.
Yeah. Come on. Let's go see.
All right. So, sort of peeling away from your observational post. It doesn't take you terribly long to link back up with the others. After a few minutes, you manage to link up some, I'd say, maybe like a par 5's length away from the tower.
So, getting much recon?
Unfortunately, not much I could see. Plenty of tents. The structure in there, the tower, definitely fallen apart. Does not look like it's being used. But nothing too obvious. No signs of guards in front of tent or anything. Unfortunately, without your amazing nose, I didn't see anything myself that could say the boy was in there.
Well, I don't even think even with my nose I'd be able to distinguish what kind of scents or what. It's all a mess. Like everything's so intermingled. It's too much to really zone in on one scent right now.
Well, now that we're on the other side of camp, does your nose lead you back towards camp as well, or is scent pick up on this side as well?
She's gonna take a big ol' sniff.
Sniff.
Perception check. There is no hint of the boy's scent on this side of the tower.
No, not that I can tell. He has to be in that camp. I want to propose an idea that I've been thinking, and with Tuki as well, because Tuki and you all would be a part of this said plan. You all have played yourselves as the hunters, and Tuki is the hunted. So, so I think the best way for us to get more insider insight is to have Tuki get caught. I wouldn't recommend it right away, like right now. We can rest for a while. There is a patrol that goes around the outskirts. Just 2 guards that we could see. Perhaps someone could replace them in some sort. I don't believe they make much of a round other than just them.
The only one who could pass for one of them would be Boron, and unfortunately they've already seen his face.
I'm a little too small for that kind.
Not as well.
I've got obvious features, and I know for sure Jaka and I no. If I went in, I'd go in balls a-blazing. That's plan C. Go in just making demands.
There are quite a few of them.
Those guards you were saying that were around the edge, were they far enough away that we might be able to waylay them without their allies making note of it?
Could I see if I remember if they made if where we were when they walked over us, if anyone could really have a clear eyesight of them prospectively?
Well, from where you were when Tuki heard them, you had a fairly good line of sight on your friends talking to Jaka down in the corridor. So it stands to reason, if anyone is looking in the direction of the patrol at the time you were to waylay them, in that specific spot, they would absolutely see whatever you pulled. That said, the patrol did come from the south and out of the tree line, maintaining a sort of wide perimeter, perhaps, that loops back closer to the front. Seeing
we have
as
to make a
you kind of intuit it, I'll let you, that the patrol probably was started in response to the discovery of Tuki's trespassing, as a reaction.
Right.
Okay.
Maintaining a perimeter guard.
So
And taking out the patrol would definitely be advantageous to us.
It would give 2 more. Plus, we might have chance to actually interrogate them. If we can take them,
Right.
Are we
I think that's our best bet.
are we assuming that they are bad?
I'm
No.
almost sure of it.
At this point, they are the only lead. And also the fact that, well, boys sent leads back in there.
So
Aside from going back there, basically walking up to Jaka himself and saying, "Hey, we've learned that basically missing boy leads right back here to your camp. Most suspicious."
oh yeah, I'd lead that charge. I'd lead that charge so hard. You have no idea.
Yes. Unfortunately, Goldwyn, your mind is caching things your writing checks your body cannot cache.
Who the fuck is
Either
Goldwyn?
way, I
There-
vote.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I vote we take a little short rest, rest down for a while. We've been walking a lot, so
I would advise against that. I mean, right now I assume it took us 15 minutes to get through the camp, or less than that.
It wasn't.
it
anywhere
took us
near
an
that long.
entire. Didn't it not take us an entire day just to track the?
It took you were moving at a slower pace on account of the fact that you were having to track the scent over a lot of terrain and miles, so you were moving at a slower than usual pace. But moving at a normal pace, it would only be maybe a 4 or so hour hike at most to get here. You spent significantly longer than that on account of tracking.
So
my question, no, what I specifically meant, sorry, I didn't word it that correctly. The time it took us from when we met the 2 guards and traveled through, and then exited, and now we've met up, it's been 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Not anywhere near
Maybe
that
half.
long.
Okay, all right.
Let's hear. So you were going, like, moving at just a regular travel pace, like, assuming you were just going at like a slow walking speed. Over the course of about a minute, you could cover about 200 feet at that speed.
Yeah.
So what that says to me is that walking through this encampment and then being escorted out, excluding the conversation with Jaka, at most was 5 minutes.
All right. To which then...
it's not a big encampment. Like, to give you a number of how big it is...
no, that answers the question perfectly.
Yeah, it's like 400 feet by, like, 300 feet is, like, the general area.
The reason I was just trying to make the, what Ludviek would just intuit this, but, just had to get that.
Yeah, I got you. Go on.
Okay. Ludviek is like, I would advise against the arrest. For the second they realize what you did, he puts to Kari, they are going to be very upset.
That is true. Charm person will wear off eventually.
So, with that in mind,
It's only one guy, right?
One guy who will then say to his buddies, "Oh, hey, that group that came through did some mind stuff on me."
How would he know?
Because the charm person spell says he will.
How would he know?
So, if time is of an essence, perhaps do we want to go with me being captured?
If we do that, though, we leave you open to attack. I would say it'd be best for you to be, well, less to be seen. I would say, here's my idea, and then I'll let you come up with your ideas. We wait for that patrol to come by when they're at this apogee, and then, when they are away from sight of their own party, we strike them, without warning. Knock them unconscious, or try to take them alive, please, that'd be preferable, so we can interrogate them. Maybe we can get some information out of this patrol.
Correct.
Specifically, whether they've seen the boy.
However, like you said, time is of the essence if we want the charm to work. And that could be, that could be like an hour, 2 hours. We don't know how much they're going to be patrolling that after you guys went through. To their knowledge, Tuki's long gone.
With anyone like that, I would assume they'd keep patrolling. But you are good. That is a good point.
I don't think they would be violent towards Tuki. If they were violent, why? Like, there's no need for them to be violent. They know someone's looking for her. Someone's going to prosecute her. And probably is on hot pursuit of her. So, what would they do?
They could likewise as well just kill her. And then say, we've saved you the trouble. Remember,
however,
we don't know the moral fiber of these men.
However, everybody put and Minnove is gonna grab a. Does anyone have a coin purse of some sort?
Sure.
Now, I don't know how much coin we're willing to put in this, how much coin we can. But when in doubt, Tuki could arrange this for her life. They did take bribes earlier. So, that's my idea. At the very least. She's said to have robbed Kari here. So why not make it look like it's robbed?
Tuki, I have a question for you.
Yes?
You seem to be the type to indulge in the 5-finger discount.
Not if I had a choice, but yes.
Do you think you could bribe them with a hefty sum of money? And then pickpocket it back because I really need the money.
Well, what we could do is we could hang on, idea. Minnove gets a little bit excited. Alright, here's the idea. I put odd order here in this bag, okay? We put all our coins in this bag. Not all our coins, but some, and then we put some rocks in there. So they open it, it puts the smell of farts in their face, and Tuki can run out. Like that.
Minnove.
Fart bomb. It's
Um,
genius. Absolutely.
Minnove, I have a
Yes.
question for you.
I
What
would
is that
advise
going to
against it.
accomplish beyond some silly faces?
I mean, I would be quite distraught.
Unfortunately, we are in a situation where this thought is not preferable to what we need to know, and possibly knocking them unconscious.
Well, if we want to do, and Minova's gonna put
If we
5
don't want-
coins.
If we don't want to risk the coin, she'll look at Boron and Ludviek. You have seen me in action, no?
Sure.
I
Yes.
should be able to get free.
So,
You sure?
I'm
we
sure.
have either attack guards on outskirts and try and interrogate, or use Tuki as
I'd
bait.
say we're more likely to have Tuki as bait, because we had the god earlier, and the god didn't give us any information, really.
Yeah, but we didn't have the guard singled out.
We have started talking in circles, and I apologize for my impatience, but there is a child in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Well, I vote specifically that we take out the 2 guards. Patrolling.
I
Yeah.
vote we plant Tuki.
I guess you're putting
Let's
it to a
take
vote.
out the guards, I'd say.
Yuki
Kari?
and Kari?
Tuki?
Yeah.
I would rather be bait. Minnove made a good point that we don't know how frequently the guards are going to be on patrol.
And so then it looks like it's Kari then for the deciding vote.
Tiebreaker vote.
Well, it seems like a decent plan to me.
Which
Which
one?
one?
Which one?
I guess I somehow missed out on one of. What is the alternative?
Okay,
to
the 2
keeping?
plans.
Because I'll be
The
honest,
2 plans. The 2 plans. Plan 1. Wait for the patrol that passed by Tuki and Minnove earlier
Oh.
to come back out on patrol, ambush them, and question the shit out of them. Or send Tuki in to get captured so that she can gather information and then slip back out.
That way, too, you guys also have a excuse to go in there and be like, hey, where's our, bird?
We could actually do both.
I don't think we
Theoretically,
can.
theoretically, it depends on how quickly the patrol would come back out, which you don't know when that would be. But theoretically, if they came back around fast enough, you could do that.
Yeah, the charm spell limit is also a factor.
Yeah, an hour. So. Well, all right. It
Kari,
looks.
Yeah.
what idea?
I think it would just be better to have Tuki as the bait.
All right.
I feel like who knows how long the patrols last on top of
All right.
both at the same time is just asking for something to go horribly wrong.
All right. Then, so if Tuki is going to be bait, and you're going to try to slip out afterwards yourself after getting whatever information you can, you're still under a time limit, specifically whatever his charm spell lets off. So, anything less than... How long does that last, Kari? Hour? Half hour?
1 hour.
An hour.
Let's see, I think it lasts an hour.
Well then, we should probably leave it no more than 30 minutes. That way if a fight does break out, he'll still be under charm spell, as long as we do not attack him. Alright then.
Yes.
Alright then, so if she's gonna do that,
You need any preparation, like hidden knife or lockpicks or whatever?
I'm gonna give Tuki a bag of gold, quote unquote. I'll give Tuki 2 pieces of gold to if she needs to bribe her way out of something, she has it.
I got I give you 10.
10.
Yes, 10.
That is a lot of money.
That's like
That's pretty much my last money.
That is incredibly generous.
it's like 600 loaves of bread.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking we're gonna get it back from them eventually.
Hopefully.
This is a gamble. This is quite literally double your money or nothing.
This is a very interesting plan.
Look on the
you all put
bright
together. I'm
side.
here
If
for it.
they decide to keep it, you can say they're stealing from you, and then we do have an excuse to attack them.
Yeah.
I would say it's an investment.
Investment in violence.
True.
I shall do this.
All right. Before we commit to the bit, I'll be right back. I have to hit the restroom.
Awesome.
I
So
just had an idea too while we were doing this, but I guess we're going to commit with the Tuki thing. I was just thinking, like, to ambush the patrolling guards. I mean, obviously they're making a patrol, so they're probably going to
water real quick.
they're going to repeat what they're doing. I just realized I have hunting traps on me.
One as well. I
Air
can leave
trap
that-
their patrol route.
we could also like just like stake out like places, like I could like, so we have an eye on Tuki at all times. That's what I was thinking, like making sure that somebody, like, not just throwing her by herself so that no one's watching her, like have eyes on her all the time.
Makes sense.
So that like, oh, she's going into this tent. Okay, let's see if she's like able to like do stuff, right? And then I don't know, like Tuki has like some sort of call or something that she does
Okay.
when she's like,
Let's
I don't know.
practice bird calls. No, not you.
Oh,
All right, I'm back.
Impulsive went to go get some water.
Right.
Cool. All right, so I guess ball's in Tuki's court now.
I will add, Minnove makes sure to keep an eye on Tuki like the entire time.
All right. So you're going to have to be pretty close to within visual range of the encampment then.
Mhm.
Good to know. All right.
Also, we kind of realized if we did go the other route of trapping the patrol route, both Ludviek and Tuki both have hunting traps available.
That is true. All right.
All right. Tuki's gonna try and find a point that would be a good. If she had looped around and then come across them the way they had left the camp, somewhere between there to like try and cut back through at the very edge.
Right. Could you phrase that another way? Because I'm having a hard time understanding what you mean.
I'm trying to make a plausible direction, like not exactly where I left from, in a path that would make sense for them to have potentially intercepted, and I'm running from where they were. My friends.
Okay,
after
so
they,
you, yeah, so you kind of left going sort of southwest-ish before you cut back around to the north side to meet up with everyone. These three just cut straight through the south end. So
southwest.
sure, there's a spot where I can kind of send you in from there. So,
All right.
Back.
welcome back. So, how do you wish to make your approach, Tuki?
She is going to approach it at a run and then make it look like she is attempting to hide when she gets near the rock formations by the camp.
But in actuality, you are definitely trying to be seen.
Yes.
Deception check.
Alright.
You still have the bardic inspiration?
I do.
I'll
And I'm
allow
actually-
it. Like, it's just lingering. You got, like, just the last bit of it.
$23.
Nice! Alright, so, with the intention of intentionally drawing attention to yourself, but trying to look like you're not, you do a damn good job. Like, to the point that you almost loop right back around to being stealthy, but not quite. So, you kind of find, like, a little crevice in the rocks that's sort of, with, like, a little tree sort of sheltering it, where you kind of hunker for a bit, and sort of, like, the very patrol that had passed you and Minnove earlier has started to, like, turn back and start heading back at around the time that you are finding this spot.
Okay.
And so as you're kind of scrambling in, you settle down, look off to the left, and there's, like, just two guys just right there. Just sort of deer in the headlights staring at you for a second. And then one of them, the one in the front who has a bow and arrow, just draws an arrow and points it at you. Don't move.
She'll just fall like she slipped and land on her back and just hold her hands up.
Sort of let out an involuntary caw of pain, because that did actually kind of hurt. The two mercs sort of scramble over to you, one keeping sort of an arrow trained on you while the other sort of comes up to your side. What the hell are you doing back?
Funny story. Care to hear it?
I don't, but the boss might. On your feet, no funny business.
Okay. Can I get a hand? So that you know that I'm not reaching for anything?
The one with the bow and arrow sort of jerks his head at his friend, is like, why do I always have to do everything? Because I'm your senior, get to it. All right. You're just down, helps you to your feet, keeps a very firm grip sort of on your, like, upper bicep. Is that the name of the arm above the forearm? The bicep?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it has a very firm grip on your bicep. The man with the bow and arrow puts away the arrow. All right, come on. And the rest of you are in a position where you can watch, right? Like you're wanting to keep an eye on things?
Minnove may be, but I don't think Boron should be, because he's just too obvious.
He's not sneaky, right?
Same with Ludviek. Basically, I think from what Minnove said, Minnove's further ahead, but we're far enough that we can see Minnove.
All right. So in that case, I'll only necessitate a stealth check from Minnove, thanks to the low light and the cover of the tree you've sort of settled into the foliage at the base of as your cover. I'll let you go do it with advantage. 18, that's good. You are undetected for the time being. So, Tuki, with these two soldiers sort of escorting you, you are brought toward the tower. And as you are approaching the tower, I would like you to make a perception check.
Alright. Oops. Sorry. I didn't grab my sheet.
It's okay. I'll take the 17. Just tell me what your bonus is.
To perception, +3.
+3. 21 total. You can absolutely hear voices coming from the inside of the tower. One of them you recognize as Jaka's from eavesdropping on him earlier. He's talking to another person whose voice you don't recognize. It's getting too hectic out here. Too many variables, too many unknowns. We've outstayed our welcome. If we leave now, we leave the entire situation hanging, and that looks bad. It looks worse to get caught. What about Bannon? He's back in town. I'll send someone to go get him. He can catch up. He and the others, they trust him. He's a better leader than some think. And what about that one? Before the conversation can go any further, the mercs with you, one of them shouts, Jaka, boss! We've got another one! The Croven, she's back! Oh, son of a... And then Jaka emerges from the tower. His eyes settle on you. Just a whole bunch of you today, isn't it?
I wouldn't know.
You stumbled on our camp earlier, and now you're back. After a trio of gnarly individuals came sprinting by, demanding they cut through my camp in pursuit of you. And now you're here again.
Well, it's hard to find a place to lay low when there is a camp and a town, and you have to cut between them. And you're being chased.
And you are hoping that this encampment could be your shelter?
It seemed a better option than a lawful city.
What are they even accusing you of?
If I may. She'll point to the two swords at her hip. These belong to noblemen of Varif. I killed one, and well, you can guess the rest with the other.
You can see him sort of like slumping in place as you convey this information to him. Make an insight check for me, actually, if you'd be so kind.
Alright. Nope.
Okay. Well, the people tracking you aren't exactly lightly armed or armored. They seem pretty damn determined to get you. What can you offer me in exchange for your safety? It has to be worth it for me and my people.
Well, at the moment, I'm a bit light on most everything, but I would like to perhaps offer that these present my skill.
Make a persuasion check for me. $15. We'll see. For now, you two. Take her to a tent, keep an eye on her. If our armored friends come thundering back again, let them know that she went further north. Yes, sir. And then Jaka sort of takes a step closer to you, Tuki. What's your name?
My name is Tuki Fletcher.
Jaka Bleakfeather.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Not enough Croven in this part of the world.
Well, I did have to travel very far to get to this part of the world.
Your accent gives away the game, I believe you. Parverin, right?
Yes. Leaslan.
Oof. You'll have to tell me if the stories I've heard live up to the hype.
That would be an interesting dinner conversation. I will not resist going to a tent, but could the flaps be open at least?
I mean, there would have to be for my people to keep an eye on you.
I understand. I just figured you would understand.
I do.
Tuki will nod and follow.
All right. So, as Jaka steps back into the tower, the two mercs sort of bring you around to a tent. Sort of one of them nudges you in. All right, get in there. Christ, you're skinny as a twig. Have you been eating anything?
The chance. Which is not often.
Yeah, I'll get used to it. If you have any intention of sticking around, we get good meals, not frequent ones.
Better than few of either.
Here, here. Right, the archer who had pointed his arrow at you sort of thumps his buddy on the chest. Right, you're keeping watch on it. Let me guess, 'cause you're the senior? That's right, you're learning! And he sort of ruffles his hair, and then fucks off. So, you are now situated in a tent with some firelight sort of crackling nearby, and one merc armed with just a plain old arming sword strapped at his hilt, sort of standing watch nearby, kind of warming his hands by the fire. It's not a particularly cold night, but it's still cool enough. So,
Right.
what do you do?
Is he facing me, or is it like what's the campfire tent situation?
He is kind of like, he's sort of like sidelong too, so like he has one eye on you, but the other is like more focused on the fire, so like you're in his peripheral.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to take away from everybody else's playtime, but
I mean, the camera isn't currently on them. Sometimes some people get to be in the spotlight more than others. It happens.
I think Tuki would actually kind of get a little shaky and talk to him. Just, would you mind if I came and sat next to you? I won't cause trouble, but I really don't like enclosed spaces.
Sure, if you want.
She'll
Kind of
get out of the tent.
sort of settle.
Breathe a little easier.
Yeah. Sort of gives you a glance. That's interesting. I haven't seen the boss be that cordial with anyone in a while.
We understand each other, even if we don't know each other.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression. You bird folk and all your weird little secrets, huh?
Do you want to know them?
Well, Jaka never really talks to me. I'm just one of his rank and file, but if you're willing to share, by all means.
It depends on what you think is a secret. I'll answer what I can.
I don't know. I mean, occasionally hear something about a yearning or something. What the hell's that all about?
That's something we can't control. It's just part of us. We have to go somewhere. We don't know where. We don't know why. We just have to go. Makes making friends, making families. Makes it very difficult. Can't get a job. I've known particular person less than 24 hours, and they will already assume that I am a thief. And I am. Because I have to be.
Well, circumstances might be a little bit different here, but welcome to the club.
So, if I have the chance to be part of this, what is it we actually do?
Not really for me to talk about that. If you're serious about joining up and Jaka and his second and third in command are serious about taking you on, they'll give you the rundown. Basic gist is nothing you're not already used to if you're already a thief.
So there is no monster, is there?
Huh. Depends on your definition of monster.
Whatever a Lugarit is defined as?
Well, to hear
None of those?
Well, to hear Korivas talk about it, it's just something he made up. No. He sort of sits down a little bit. The real monsters. They're the ones who sit high and cushy. Over in Antarine, the Academy City. Surrounded by all their libraries and opulence. Further out you go, however, the less of a shit they give. Don't know if you've ever been particularly far north and east, but if you start getting out there past the edge of the forest, there's basically no guarantees of protection. For anyone out there. You'll have to fend for yourself, and you're ignored when you try to raise your voice about it. Because we, and he sort of gestures to himself, are the uneducated slop of the frontiers. And if you don't already know your arithmetics and your historical nuances, you might as well be less than dirt on the bottom of a solemn erudite's boot.
I can understand that feeling.
Well, then you'll fit right in.
Are you really sure that it's only the northeast?
I use that as an example. That's where I'm from.
I was just curious because Canales Rest was not a pretty place.
Canala's Rest is spooky. But that's
Should
about
be
it.
better now.
Well, I don't know. We didn't
This was
exactly...
Veronica's sword.
Oh, shit. That's one of the nobles you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I was led to believe she was supposed to be good at fencing.
Apparently I'm better.
Or you got the drop on her.
Nope. I was in their torture dungeon.
What? She had a what now?
Oh yes, she would capture travelers, drug them, throw them in an underground maze system full of traps, poison, disease. And once you made it to the end, weak and tired, she was there to kill you herself. I made it all the way through and killed her.
Alone?
What do you think? Do you see anybody with me now?
No. Huh. Make a persuasion check. Ooh. Oh, fuck me if half that's true. Well, I'll pace my rank in no time.
I'm not interested in rank.
Well, as you saw a minute ago, seniority tends to come with perks, so...
A perk to me is a warm meal and a bed, even if it is just a sleeping bag.
Well, at least a few of those here, so you'll be fine, I think.
So, if we're going to start at the bottom together, what's going on in the tower? What were they talking about?
I don't know. The tower's where the big guy, the boss and his lieutenant, that big Rythar thug of his, Korivas, that's where they hang out all the time. That's where they discuss operations, that's where Jaka's bed is. Don't know where Korivas sleeps. That guy's about as wild as a rabid raccoon. I'd be surprised if he even knows what a bed is. Generally speaking, though, we're supposed to give Jaka and his people their space.
Doesn't that kind of sound like he's the one on top? Just like the monsters that you were talking about in the cities?
From a certain angle, I suppose. It's a little different, though. See, you'll find that a lot of people don't mind necessarily being a few rungs lower on the ladder, as long as the people who are a few steps higher don't step on their faces to get there. That's not what Jaka did. You know, he started at the bottom too. At least that's what I've heard. I haven't heard the full story, but murmurings from the others say that, well, that he lost everything at some point. Parents got imprisoned for some crime they didn't commit because the Crovan were convenient.
That's a familiar story.
Right. The rest of us here, we're in similar boats. We can't go back home, or we've got no home to go back to. For one reason or another. Now, we're a few steps lower on the ladder than him. But we're on the ladder at all because he helped pull us onto it. He's not an oppressor, he's a leader.
Alright. Just making sure.
You're not the first person to raise that question. I had it too.
I hate to be more of a bother, but I have been hiding all day and running. I really need to use the restroom.
If you're looking for an outhouse, I'm afraid that's not a luxury we can quite afford to pack on our backs just yet.
Well, a place without prying eyes at least.
That's fine. He sort of turns and points a little to the other side of the tent, little cluster of trees. Go over there, I guess.
Alright. Appreciate it. And once she gets there, I would like to stealth away if he's not gonna follow.
Go ahead and make a stealth check. $25. Nice. Yeah, I mean, his passive perception is 10, and he kind of turns back to the fire to, give you your privacy as you do your business. And your business is slinking away. So you just kind of... You depart safely. Let me tell you, if this were Final Fantasy D6, I would be giving you destiny points right now. But this is D&D 5th edition, and all we have is inspiration, and I don't want to use that.
Totally fair.
So...
Still, way to go, Tuki.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Well done.
Rope-a-dope roleplay.
Yeah, that was great.
Thank
Man,
you.
I've got to turn off that fucking soundboard. And I got to keep Tuki's theme on loop for a while.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Minnove kinda... you had eyes on that, though you couldn't hear the conversation from that distance for the entire time it was happening. But eventually, Tuki sort of slinks away, and you kind of see her vanishing into the shrubbery. And I'm just going to assume Tuki's just going to immediately go back to the group.
Yep.
All right. So, after a short time, Tuki, you reconvene with the others.
So, how'd it go? How's your first day?
Better than expected. Lugaret is made up.
What? Oh no! What? Oh.
You know, that would make sense. I never encountered reading about any such creatures.
Makes sense. Understandable.
So it was a
Alright.
falsehood all along. So
the
they are
boys
playing
here-
con.
I did not get everything, but there are a few loose ends they were talking about. We are some of them, but they were
We-
talking about something else, which I am currently guessing is the boy.
Fuck.
So we need to move
Okay.
quick then.
Okay. Can we
But-
create some sort of diversion that draws away some of their forces? I really don't want to take them all on. That's gonna be a bit much.
Well, I am currently being under consideration for a job. I can go back in. They were talking about retrieving their spokesman from town.
Yeah.
Right! Bannon! I don't know why I didn't hear that before!
Did it sound like they were leaving soon?
That was sort of my assumption. Based on what was said, collect him as soon as possible and cut their losses.
So
Sounds like
collect-
we've no
They're-
time to lose then.
They're currently
Easy.
debating on whether to cut their losses or to do something, because
Losses. Sheesh.
well, right now, the fake monster they have made up is still a problem. And if they pick up and leave, then that looks bad and nobody will hire them again.
Yeah, right.
But we are causing them issues.
So we probably should tone it
Okay.
down.
What about the boy?
We-
Did you get any idea of where they might be holding the boy?
I think he's inside the tower. That is also where Jaka is set up to sleep, along with his other lieutenants. Except for the Rythar, nobody knows where he sleeps, apparently.
Right.
An option
Well-
could be you could sneak back in. We cause ruckus at south side of camp. They come seeing what the ruckus is. While they're distracted, you sneak in and try to escape with boy.
I can do that. If I do
Okay.
that, I should go soon, because I said I was going to the bathroom.
Yeah, you go. We'll discuss
Then go.
Right.
Go now.
And I
Yes,
will
sir.
loop back around then.
Enjoy your new job.
All right. So, as you make your way back to camp, everyone else gets an opportunity to discuss their plan.
So, I do believe Bannon might be an idea, but do you think they'd be willing to leave without him?
I think at this point, saving the boy is paramount. Anything
Well-
on the side is not going to do anything. Besides,
To my-
it's too far back to city. It's at least hours to get back there. Right now, I'd say our best thing to do is to try to divide and conquer. The patrol, they haven't passed by yet, which means they might be coming around any second. And it is still under hour. meaning that charm spell hasn't tipped them off to what Kari had done. I'd say...
It doesn't have much longer, I will say that.
So, if we wait for that patrol to come by, the charm spell might go off, and that would give away the game. So, we either go now...
Yeah.
Not necessarily. They just know that I charmed them.
Yes.
Whatever.
And that would put them even on higher alert than already. And remember, Tuki's cover right now is the only thing protecting her.
Okay.
If they decide to turn their attention entirely onto her, that could pose us problems.
Right
yes,
now.
but that would be quite the jump to just assume that since I charmed them, that Tuki is lying.
Yeah. To be fair, honestly, it just makes Kari look more like the hitman. No offense.
None taken.
So I think right now, out of all of us, Tuki is the safest.
Alright. Yeah. We give Tuki a chance to get back into camp, and then we make for it.
Okay. Minnove better stay hidden. They don't know of you yet.
Yes, well, the only thing is, if Jaka sees me, even if the Rythar, honestly, the Rythar has seen me, and it's kind of hard to hide all of this, you know. So, but you know, I will try, and I'll keep my eye on Tuki best I can still.
Okay.
And if there's an opening that I can see and Tuki might not be able to make it, we have a second, I guess.
Okay then.
Let me check real
Skip.
quick. How is Minnove armed in any way?
I have a dagger. I could cut a bitch.
Okay.
Primarily bard.
I could cut you.
Yeah.
Primarily bard. I got a rapier. I got a rapier and I got a dagger.
Okay.
Let's see here. Let me see here.
I also have what we like to call magical.
Give me a moment.
Oh yes.
I will say, as a kobold, you do have your claws too.
Oh right.
Your claws and your teeth, and you're always proficient with those, so you can use those as weapons, even if you lose your dagger.
Could eat them. Could eat them.
I mean, kobolds are notorious for just eating people in the middle of battle.
Plus, also, I want to add, I could be very scary.
I believe it.
Sounds good.
Uh-huh.
Well, all you have to go to them is say that you're Cthulhu's chosen, and they'll be like, oh my god, what the fuck?
I have no idea what that is.
Neither do I.
Anyway.
Can I roll history to see if I know what that is?
Sure. Roll it.
Okay.
Okay, so, Kari, you absolutely know what Cthulhu's chosen means. Cthulhu is the name of the currently only known red dragon operating in the known world. Far, far, far south, hundreds of miles south, in the deserts of Lassun. Your understanding of that is actually fairly comprehensive with a roll of 23. I'll give you the short version for now because we're strapped for time, Chief. Lassun, as a nation, is a big-ass desert, and in the very middle of it, there's a mountain range with an oasis at its core, and that is where the red dragon Cthulhu resides, ostensibly. No one's ever actually managed to make it there. It is known that the red kobold horde calls that region home and dominates that entire mountain and the surrounding jungles. Lassun has been at war with the kobolds of Cthulhu's horde for about 20 years now, and neither side has really made any headway because while the kobolds have magic that the Lasuni refuse to use because it's an anti-magic theocracy, Lassun has a lot more territory and a lot more troops to throw at the kobolds, so they've kind of been locked in a 2-decade stalemate. But Cthulhu, on the very rare occasion he has deigned to appear on the battlefield, has pretty much always won every single battle he's shown up to, and being a chosen champion of a dragon basically marks a kobold as being very important, all caps trademark. That being said, you are very far north from Lassun. basically no one is going to know what that means.
Yeah. But she knows, so she'll be like, as long as I gotta say this, and she'll be like, what do you mean you don't know?
Okay, we gotta get going.
Yeah.
Like you have like the entirety of the Americas separating you from Lassoon, so as far as like distance is concerned.
Yeah.
So yeah, you start making your way back towards the south side of Jaka's encampment. Cutting back to Tuki, you find your spot in the tent, sort of crawl back in, and as you're sort of getting back into place, the merc that had been sort of chatting with you before and hanging out with you, sort of. It looks like he was like tiptoeing and like surveying the surrounding area in the direction you had gone, because you'd been gone for at least a few minutes.
Yeah.
And it was finally you come back and you're just like, oh, there you are. You were gone for a bit. Does it usually take longer for Kraven to go?
Well, like I said, running and hiding all day.
And no toilet, right, nerves, understood.
I must say, though, I do really appreciate the level of kindness that's been shown.
Well, pretty much all of us here are outcasts in one way or another, so even if I don't got feathers, I feel like I at least have an idea what it's like. So, the rest of you, I assume coming in from the south.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How do you wish to... What is the commotion, the ruckus you wish to instigate?
I do want to state that Minnove is, like, hidden away.
All right.
Yeah, so it's just the three of us, I assume, again. Boron, Kari, and Ludviek.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that patrol path would it be? Can I perceive if their path is obvious that they're going to make another loop around?
The problem is that you didn't spend enough time observing the patrol to actually know what their route is. You only know the one spot where it intersected with where Tuki and Minnove were hiding earlier, so...
That sounds good enough.
It's just
so you could find that spot, wait for them to come around, and then follow them.
We don't have time for waiting.
No. It was more so just like had an idea, like if I could anticipate where their path was going to go.
You might be able to make a survival check because of a 13. Okay. You think you might be able to? If you can kind of get eyes on where they intersected with Tuki and Minnove earlier, you might be able to extrapolate out a path, just following what would be the most logical route. It might be a little tricky, though. A 13's good, but it's not great.
All right. Before we get too close to the group there, basically, I'd like to lay down one of my hunting traps on the path they might go along, and hide it well enough.
All right. Sure. So you set down a hunting trap. Fairly easy, straightforward.
Mm-hmm. And the goal is to keep it hidden enough that, nobody walking in this dim light would be able to see it. Ludviek points it out to where he's putting it down to his party so they can make a mental note to not step there.
I'll try my best.
Right. All right.
In case they come from behind.
All right. So you're just waiting then for the patrol to come through, or are you actively trying to intercept them?
More so since they're making a loop, they'd be coming around the opposite direction from which they left. And the idea to place the trap along their path, then continue on back towards the south end where we left off that camp. in essence, leaving something of a surprise for the patrol if they were to come back towards the south gate, the south entrance where we were. Am I making sense, or do I need to draw a diagram?
No, you are not making much sense at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay, you know what? Scrap the whole fucking idea. Just let's go.
Yeah.
You're just tracking them?
I assume we're just going to go to the south gate, back the way we came. Was that the
Correct.
idea? Yes.
That's my idea, yeah.
Yeah, we're just marching up. We're going to cause a scene.
Alrighty.
Never mind. I'm being too fucking clever for my own good.
You're trying to be. The problem is that a lot of being clever in D&D actually means thinking too hard about a simple problem and making things more complicated than they need to be.
But it's fun.
It is.
It's fun.
But it's also interesting watching it as a DM and just going, why don't you just do this single thing instead of the 8 to 9 complex steps you are laying out?
I'm trying to
like
to Thanatos this shit. I am going to have plans within plans here.
Okay, you say Thanatos, that means a completely different thing to me and Sepia.
See, here's the thing.
Also, it's like what you're doing is you're trying to Divinity Original Sin 2 a Skyrim situation, is the comparison I would make.
By the way, what are your rules on picking up barrels of oil?
You can't put them in your backpack.
Also, the other issue with a complicated plan is that they usually involve a lot of rolls.
That too.
And
more failure
the more
points.
rolls there are, the more chance for natural ones there is.
Exactly.
All right. So we're just marching up. All right.
So you're just marching up to the southern area where you were escorted through previously, Minnove hanging back to be out of sight, to cause a ruckus and a scene.
It's like, to which then, as we're coming up, I guess Ludviek would just say, remember, we know that, he's doing air quotes, that, our quarry went back this way. They are either hiding her, or they have her for herself for the reward. Point is, cause enough of a disturbance that we get most of the eyes on us, and that'll give Tuki a chance to do her wet magic.
Correct.
All right. All right, well then.
Okay.
Initiate at thy leisure.
Oh, okay.
Not what I meant.
I think he means you.
I know.
You're the face here.
See. Look, the opportunity was right there. I had to take it.
I mean, you're not wrong, but also...
Anyway. So, Kari is going to be angry speed walking along the path that Tuki went to until they run into any of the guards, I guess.
Yeah. I can only angry walk. That's the only way I move.
Ludviek has as grumpy a face as he can for a Rythgar.
All right. I mean, it's pretty grumpy. Rythgar typically have pretty severe facial expressions. Lions.
Grumpy cat.
Grumpy cat. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. So, you sort of come breaking out of the tree line at a very steady stomping motion, not terribly far away from the tent where Tuki is actually hanging out at this point. Sort of directly to your right, there are two of the mercs kind of keeping watch, sort of on a little bluff a little higher than your position, who see you come stomping out. One of them's like, hey, we sent you away, the fuck you doing? And like points an arrow in your direction.
All right. Unfortunately, I can't be super loud.
It's okay. It's D&D. It's okay. It's D&D. We can imagine.
You bastards are holding my quarry, aren't you?
What the hell are you talking about?
You think we don't know how to track a giant bird in the woods?
Evidently not, because you're still wasting our time. Get lost! Tuki, you can hear this. They're not that far away. There's like 80 feet between you and Kari right now, albeit there is a tree, a shallow bluff, and the wall of a tent between you. The merc hanging out by the fire in front of you, sort of putting a hand towards the sword. Oh, goody, your friends are back.
He's going to be looking at the one pointing the bow and arrow at him and say, "Is that your attempt at intimidation? I've seen toddlers that have stricken more fear in my heart than you."
If you'd like to skip the preamble, I can stick an arrow in your eye and be done with it.
As if you could hit anything.
Right, I need to make a charisma saving throw for this guy.
For what?
You're antagonizing him, and he's already on edge. He might just shoot you. So, that's a 12. We'll say that's a pass. Just set it at a base DC of 10.
Okay.
So...
Besides, you do not know the hellfire that will be brought down upon all of you should you lay a hand on any feather on my head.
Yeah, we've heard that all before. Look, your damn bird isn't here, so fuck off already. It should be noted at this point that there are, like, people moving in the direction of this shouting match. So you do have attention. The merc in front of your tent, Tuki, is going to sort of poke his head and is like, stay down. And then he's going to move past to going to lend himself to the growing confrontation.
I will probably be ready to slip out and start sneaking towards the tower once things hit off.
All right.
That sounds good.
So...
You think there aren't people that I've been keeping in contact with that would be expecting to hear from me? If you hurt or kill or imprison me in any way, shape, or form, they're going to come into this area and sweep it for me. You have no idea what you'll bring upon yourselves.
I've heard this sort of bluster before. That's all it ever is. Hot air. I will say this only once more. Gather up your charming friends and get the hell out of our camp!
How far away is this guy?
He's about, I'd say, like 10 feet up and otherwise about 30 feet away. At least from Kari. From you, still 10 feet up, but more closer to like 20 feet.
Uh-huh.
And I'll say it's at about this point, as this conversation is going and as the commotion is rising, that Tuki, sort of keeping your eyes about, you'll see Jaka emerging from the tower. Looking increasingly disgruntled, and you see that, like, his glaive is drawn. It is held tightly in his hand. He looks back over his shoulder, says something into the tower, and starts storming in the direction of the argument. So, does Kari have anything else to say at this point?
Actually, this is a question for the class. Do you think there is... Do you think there is it takes more than 10 pounds of force to break a stick?
Depend on the stick?
Yes.
Like, it would definitely depend on the stick. If we're talking about just a regular old twig, then probably not. But, like, if you're trying to, like, snap his bow...
Oh, I'm not trying to snap his bow. I want to snap the arrow.
That sounds like a fantastic question for Google.
I'm pretty sure that 10 pounds of force will snap an arrow, but I'm not sure that Mage Hand can apply that. Also, yeah, Mage Hand
you'd have to keep in mind also the kinetic energy of the arrow, because if the arrow is loosed, then that potential energy is going to increase the amount of energy you'd have to exert in order to snap it.
No, he's just annoyed that he's got an arrow pointed at him.
Oh, you mean snap the arrow that the guy's holding? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything with a cursory Google search on how much force it would take to snap an arrow.
But I'm pretty sure the Mage Hand is in fact visible.
Yeah, that's the point.
And moves up to him.
Yeah,
so
like it would probably look like an attack.
It would absolutely look like an attack, because it kind of would be an attack on his possessions, at least.
Yeah.
Not that quick.
When Kari says hellfire will rain hellfire, can Minnove?
Sorry, I was going to say actually Mage Hand appears at any point I choose within a 30-foot range.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to move towards him.
Yeah, it just appear.
Anyway, my apologies.
I mean, you can still do. You could do it if that's a better. Because what I was gonna do is do prestidigitation and just like turn off like all like swoop out all the lights in the area to make it look like you're like powerful. I guess hellfire.
I mean, you can do that regardless.
Oh. Is it night already?
It has gotten dark at this point. Yes.
Oh, okay, but
I have dark vision.
Really. Yeah, that would be our advantage against the humans.
Yeah.
Well,
Except the one. I just did the meme.
I'd like to do that, I guess.
All right.
Regardless.
So as Kari is saying hellfire, you use prestidigitation to make all the various lights around flicker and dull somewhat. And I would like for you then, Minnove, to make an intimidation check at advantage with that.
Ooh.
That's not great.
Wouldn't it be my intimidation check?
Because I'm
With
going
advantage?
I'm because she's
off. I guess
the one.
it would.
I mean, the way I'm rationalizing it is, Minnove is the one who is employing the spell, so the roll goes to her to make it convincing, but she gets the advantage, A, because she's hidden, and B, because she is piggybacking off of your fury, so.
Yeah, but her action in and of itself isn't intimidating. It's only intimidating when combined with the action that I'm doing actively.
I mean, it's either
I'm
one of you
actively
rolls with
trying to intimidate.
It's either one of you rolls with advantage, or both of you just roll normal. Take your pick, you two.
I'm okay with whatever.
I say leave it
Maybe-
as it is. That's just me.
Okay.
At least it's there. Like, I could do it again still at some other point and go, and like, maybe it's grand.
Yeah, well.
Doesn't need to be intimidation, just needs to be something that's just like, hey, warning you, kind of thing.
Right. Well, either way, so, let's see here. So, as it is, the various, just gonna... Regardless, as the prestidigitation effect takes hold and the lights flicker and spasm, the merc that you're talking to and the others around, like, they tense, they seem weary, but they don't necessarily seem, like, actively rattled or threatened. At around this time is when Jaka is walking past where Tuki's hanging out in her tent.
I'll slip away.
All right. Go ahead and make a stealth check for me. Jesus Christ, 26.
I was about
20.
to say, wouldn't it be advantage? But then I don't think that's necessary.
It's not
Don't worry about
necessary. It kind of boils down to the fact that the tensions are high, people are alert, and also she's in campfire light, so she's more
And
trying to
Minnove's
move in a way that doesn't draw attention rather than just avoid being seen altogether. Either way, though,
Minnove's
26 on
like
stealth
the
is damn good. So, Tuki, you start slinking your way toward the tower, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And while you're kind of making I assume you're just heading for the door, or are you heading for one of the windows?
How far are the windows?
So the door is sort of on the left-hand side of the structure from where you are, sort of on near the left corner. The closest window is sort of more towards the right-hand side, past 2 tents.
Just go through the door then.
All right. While you're making your way for the door, let's see here. After the prestidigitation effect goes off, the merc just kind of shakes his head. More hot air from a haughty, self-righteous little asshole, eh?
Then he's gonna break the arrow with Mage Hand.
Okay, so
That's petty.
It's I want you to stop pointing that at me.
Right. So I'm going to make for me an ability check using your spellcasting ability, and this guy's going to make a dexterity save to see if he can get his arrow out of the way of the hand in time.
So,
just a flat charisma check.
Oh, okay.
Because it's your spellcasting ability.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Nice.
Okay, so so you successfully snag the arrow with a hand and snap it. His buddy immediately comes up, points his own arrow at you.
When it snaps, can I do another prestidigitation?
You may.
Hell yeah.
What do you wish to do?
I'm gonna do the light thing again, but gonna really try to make it really work.
Okay. All right. So
Minnove is the VFX group who is
Yeah.
trying to sell this.
So you do catch like Kari casting the spell because magic does require verbal components and like the ringstone and whatnot. So you see he's casting a spell, and thanks to your ability to silent cast as a kobold, you time it so that the lights flicker again as the arrow snaps. An intimidation of 20 this time. Unless Kari wants to roll as well, in which case we'll use your 9.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So a 20 then. That settles that ruling.
You sounded almost offended at that.
All right. So the mercs rolled an 18.
Ooh.
They're definitely taken aback by that. And it's at around this time that Kari, Ludviek, and Boron, you see Jaka coming around the bend, calling out to you. Parlor tricks and a haughty attitude will not change the reality of the situation, that being, your quarry is not here, and you are getting on my nerves.
Do you think I don't know what a "you" means when tracking someone? It means they turned around, dipshit. She's here.
And you're a fucking liar.
You, all of you, have to the count of 3 to get out of my sight. Or I'm going to start venting.
Can you even count to 3?
Kari's gonna hold up a hand and say, "We will be back and in greater numbers."
A heart-blown lie.
Actually, I'd like to roll deception on that.
Go for it.
Never mind. Let's not roll this
Jaka just
Never mind.
Jaka's cheeks kind of lift in the Kraven equivalent of a smirk. If you were capable of that, you would have done so already. Unless, of course, you're just brain dead, which, given your insistence on wasting my time, seems to be rather likely. He takes a threatening step forward. Last warning. Go. Now.
To which then,
Before that,
yeah.
I'm gonna cut over to Tuki, because at this point you would have made it to the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
good.
Man.
So Tuki, poking your head in through the door and looking inside, you see it's largely cleared out. Like, if there was, like, rubble or debris in this collapsed tower, it's long ago been cleared out. You see a couple of bedrolls sort of tucked against the far wall. A couple of, like, foot lockers, presumably full of personal effects. Glancing off to the right, you see... First, you see a towering brute of a Rythar, presumably the one Minnove saw back in town before. Large, wild, haphazard, like just frazzled almost. This draping mane of sort of gray, almost matted hair, covering a dark brown, furry face that is lined with scars. You see, sort of strapped to his wrists, now that you're this close, you can see, like, gauntlets tipped with, like, blades kind of coming out of the knuckles. And past him, sort of fearfully tucked against the wall past him, a little human child. A boy, maybe 6 or 7 years old, who looks kind of dirtied up, but not necessarily hurt. He doesn't have any noteworthy injuries, just a little mussed, a little dirty, shivering on the spot and looking more than a little afraid.
Is he by a window?
There's a window about 10 feet from him.
And if I were to presumably go around and try to climb in, would that be in the Rythar's field of view?
Easily. He appears to be keeping an eye on the boy. Though judging by his twitching facial expression, you get the impression he'd rather be anywhere else right now.
All right. I'm going to walk in.
All right.
What?
So you walk in, the Rythar looks up at you, and immediately his lip sort of curls back into a vicious snarl. You weren't told to come in here. Get out.
The people hunting me are causing a commotion. I just got nervous. I can watch the boy if you want to help out Jaka.
Make a persuasion check. The Rythar comes away from the wall and sort of curls his fingers into fists. As I recall, you were only instructed to lay low with us. Do not presume to command me around.
I'm not trying to command.
Then get out.
I just... Yes, sir?
All right. So you just step him back out?
Yep. But I am going to loop around to that window.
All right. While you're doing that, back to Kari, Jaka, and all them. Ludviek was going to try something, I think.
Ludviek will just say, "Why are you protecting Kari? Besides, it makes no sense. Even if you think that you can take us, how many of you would go down? I do not think you'd like that."
As I recall, there are far more of my people than yours. And I've already said...
True.
We are not sheltering your damned fugitive.
Could I prepare heat metal in case if he tries to make a swinging attack at any of them?
You can. The shaft of his glaive is made of wood, though.
And his armor?
Let me double check his sheet. He is wearing a breastplate.
Okay.
Your line of sight on him is spotty at best at the moment. You can hear him, but more you can see Kari, Ludviek, and Boron. Line of sight on Jaka is a bit trickier, so it would be really hard to land a spell on him from here.
Okay.
How far is he from me and Boron and the others? And
from
Kari.
From Kari, is about 30 feet. From you, about 40. From Boron, about 45.
Okay.
Why are you rolling a death save?
I did not mean to do that. I was the damn thing scrolled. The damn thing scrolled up.
Ludviek just like offs himself. Ludviek is like, shit, yo.
It's like, well,
Too
we
much
tried.
stress. I'm out.
It's just like, well, we tried.
No. I was trying to look at my. I was looking at weapons basically, and it scrolled up and hit that. Sorry. Anyway, okay. There's no need for us to fight like this. Come on. We know they're here.
Oh shit! Sorry. I mean, I could do something.
Should I roll something as well?
I mean, depends on what you're doing.
I would like to. I'd like to have Ludviek basically just go. There may be more of you, but how many do you think will be left standing? And I'd like to have him basically intimidate them.
Roll it.
Nobody can intimidate in this group. We are just not intimidating.
Minnove is really intimidating.
I just wanted to say I was trying to assist him with saying something like, I kind of like these odds. I took on more than there are of you.
Right. Regardless, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jaka's just going to. Well then.
How many of them are there?
You count 7, not including Jaka.
Oh, okay. I was thinking there was more. Okay.
There are more
and,
in total, but a bunch of them aren't here right now.
Yeah.
Oh, just like aren't here, or just aren't present?
Because like a bunch of them are back in town.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, it's been just 7 this whole time, guys. What have we been doing? Just talking.
Right? I thought all of them here. I thought they're not here. They're just can't see them. We can't perceive
anyway,
them.
in that case, how far away are they?
30 feet.
They're 30 feet away?
There's 7 plus Jaka plus that Beasts of Arythar.
Correct.
What's the worst that they could do? Like, genuinely.
No, genuinely though. How far are they?
You know what? It might be easier if you could see.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
Jeez.
Oh, they're right there?
Yeah.
Hang on. I need to measure something.
I love this blue tint.
Yeah, I had to remake this map earlier today because, as it so happens, the version I originally had was daytime only.
Okay.
Okay, you know what? All right. So is he on an elevated position, or are we on an elevated position?
You are slightly higher up than him.
Okay.
I have a quick question too, as well. Do we recognize in the immediate vicinity at any one of these marks as the one that Kari charmed?
Yes, actually. It would be I believe it was one of the archers, so it would be this one back here.
Okay.
And on that
Okay,
note, that charm is like about to wear off.
Oh, don't worry. That's not going to matter for too much longer. I need to just know a couple things.
Yeah. To which,
Okay. So, you know how you asked me to, at least for the time being, swap out a certain spell?
Yes.
I've swapped it with something else.
Oh, goody.
So, and we're going to find out together what that is. So...
oh no.
Oh no. Fireball.
You don't know. None of you have third level spell slots yet. I would also hit you too.
So Kari is actually going to be looking at Jaka and almost like he's just casually doing like he's moving like he's about to start doing a pacing thing back and forth like this. If, you know what I mean? Like that kind of strut.
I understand. Yep.
Okay, looking at Jaka. But then when he reaches there, these two guys here need to make me... I need them to make a
You're casting
dexterity saving throw.
Well, let's see the spell, man.
Cast it. I need to know what it is. Cast it. Burning Hands.
Burning Hands.
Okay. So that is a dexterity saving throw from each of them.
Yep.
Like, that is a 15-foot cone from where you are, right?
Yep, so...
Yep.
If it can... Ooh, wait.
No.
Can I get that third guy in there?
No, you can,
Can I do it if I move here?
Probably not. We can try.
Then you can get the third guy in, but not the second anymore.
Yeah. You can
I'd
only
rather
two
get
of
the
them.
archers.
All right. Well, then. So, dexterity saves, you say?
Yes.
Well, then. First of all, I need to change the music.
Uh-oh.
Because, well, y'all just started some shit.
Yeah.
So, 2 dexterity saves. Top one makes a 17. Bottom one makes a 5.
Yeah. One got it, one didn't.
Roll your damage. It's 3d6.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 3d6 fire damage.
9.
9.
Not amazing, but not bad.
When their hands do the burning thing, can I do prestidigitation to make the fire around them go more up?
I mean, if you...
We want to snuff out the fires to
As
make
it
the
is...
humans not be able to see anymore.
Well, as it is, it's kind of irrelevant because at this point, I need everyone to roll initiative.
Alrighty. Please be good to me.
Nice.
Can we keep my initiative roll from earlier?
No.
Dang it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. Somebody got lucky there.
Yeah.
What's another point 12s?
It's just a dex thing. And also, I rolled that incorrectly for that guy. Let's see. Am I missing any of these guys? Yes, I am.
Impulsive. Fucking impulsive.
All right. Now I need an initiative for that guy and an initiative for that guy. And
We're
we
gonna
will
kick our
sort-
asses, guys.
No, they're not.
So,
Sorry, you're... Okay.
So, Kari, after beginning that sort of pacing thing, you gather flames, utter a quick incantation in the magic tongue, turn to the two archers that are sort of looming over you and just release this from your fingers as temperatures rise and blades of grass ascend. The archer closer to you, sort of having already had an arrow snapped by you, is more on edge than his buddy and sort of immediately scampers back while throwing up his arms. Shit! His buddy is not so safe, however, and just and scampers back. And with that, top of the round, it is Jaka's go. And he is going to snarl, tighten his grip on his glaive. You were warned. And he is going to charge you, Kari.
Ooh.
And is going to make 2 attacks with his glaive at you.
Ouch.
Ooh, combat.
Yep.
How well lit is it for these guys as well, is my question.
The first one misses, the second one hits.
All right, so you, in that case, take a... Why is it saying... Why doesn't it just contract it down to just a basic number? Just doing weird things, but whatever. Either way, that's still... What is it doing? What is that?
It's rolled with advantage, so it counted that as a crit.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So he rolled a 4.
Give me a moment. I can change that.
No.
No, as in like so that it doesn't automatically do advantage. Okay, so you take 4 points of slashing damage then. As Jaka comes charging in, he swings his glaive once and you sort of like duck back, and the blade sort of slices down in front of you, making your eyes sort of widen a bit. And then immediately following, he brings it up and like cracks the back end of the blade right sort of into your beak, sending you staggering back as stars explode across your vision. All right, Tuki, it is to you.
I'm going to hold a dash action to see what this guy does.
Okay, we're probably not going to be able to finish this combat tonight as a by the by because we're at the 20-minute warning, just as a heads up. So,
Alright.
So Tuki, you're holding the dash action.
Yep, to see what Corvus does.
All right. Also, I'm going to add an asterisk to the merc that talked to Tuki earlier in case you guys want to be merciful.
Merciful.
Because that was actually a pleasant conversation.
How should we know? Anybody but Tuki.
In case Tuki wants to be merciful.
Okay.
Right, so, let's see here. I don't need...
I mean, I technically saw it, so maybe Minnove is like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
Right, so, over here, this archer is going to come charging over and take a knee next to one of the sort of rising, jutting pillars of stone, stabilize his bow by balancing one part of it on the ground. He's going to draw an arrow, and he is going to focus fire. Oh, he has like 3 targets. He is going to open fire on, I think on Kari for the moment.
I believe he has disadvantage because he has an ally in melee range.
That's correct.
Fair. All right, so 14.
That misses.
All right. Arrow goes sort of shooting by you, sort of like duck it at the last second, is like shoots right by your head and like sort of scrapes against the rock you are standing right next to. Let's see here. Where's this other merc archer? Ah, it's the one who's like on the other fucking side of the map, who, hearing the commotion, is just gonna dash action to start approaching. It's gonna take him a bit to actually show up and be helpful, though. All right, now, Ludviek, Lion Man, 'tis to you.
All right, hang on. Just doing some mathematics. Doing the mathematics!
I like my music choice for this fight.
It is a good choice.
Very nice.
As a reminder, the gray spot sort of that right there is about a 10-foot incline of steep rock So you'd have to do some gymnastics to actually ascend that. Jaka and Kari are like right at the base.
Right at the base, right here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well then.
Yeah, like pretty much anywhere you can see the gray rock indicates a surface that is a like near vertical slope that would be very difficult to ascend conventionally.
Okay. Okay. I think
I believe he is. I believe if you step there, we would be flanking him.
True. But you said if I was standing right here, it's a 10-foot incline to where those guys are standing.
It's a 10-foot incline to the archers. Yes.
Yeah, to the archers. Okay. All right then. If my math is correct, I'd like to then move. Jeez. Dang it! Quit right-clicking, game. There we go. Would you allow me to move here? Can I do that, or do I have to like go around? Hang on. How do
you can move through the space of allies, but you can't move through the space occupied by enemies.
Okay, so that's not possible. That's not possible. Unless I. Okay, diagonal. So like 20 there, 20 there, 10 there, 5 there. Okay, so.
You got 35.
Yeah, and then hold it to. Oh, how do I keep adding it on top of it? Control?
I don't know.
Shift, I believe. Something
Shift?
with shift.
No, that doesn't do anything.
Okay.
It's like you do have to right click while still holding.
Oh,
left.
right click. Oh, there we are. Okay.
Yeah,
Holding
and
down
you can
the
do
left
that
hand.
while
Right.
moving yourself around too. For example.
All right. Well, all right. I know my position. Then I want to move in, because moving from here to here won't be an attack of opportunity because he's up on a cliff.
It would provoke an attack of opportunity. Well,
If
no,
he had a
it wouldn't
melee
from this
weapon
guy
that
because he's
clicks.
using a ranged weapon. No. That said, in order to actually make that jump, that's a.
Oh, so this is a jump from these two spots?
I mean, just to get up. Again, there's this gray here.
Oh, okay. So this is the incline. I thought this was like the flat of it.
Yeah, no, like Jaka and Kari are
it's a little
technically
hard to see.
on the slope. Really,
you're
I
on
should
the-
move them 5 feet to the left.
Nah, they're birds. They're defying gravity.
That's not how that works. It's not that they're defying gravity, they are intersecting otherwise occupied physical space. Which I'm not a physicist, but I'm pretty sure that causes gravitational problems.
Oh, hush.
No,
All right,
I'm the DM, I can't. You don't have a game without me.
Come on.
And okay, all right. I know what I'm going to do then. I'm going to move right behind him.
All right.
So there and then there.
Yep.
And then I'll move my piece there. Boom. And I'm going to make a melee attack with the Warhammer on him.
All right. Roll it.
Advantage.
All right. And with advantage? Oh,
Yeah, we're
okay.
flanking him.
Oh, right. Okay. Cool.
He's
Boom.
getting 2 times.
16.
Ooh.
Miss.
Shite.
Dang it.
So as you come sort of charging in, taking up a position behind Jaka, you bring your hammer up and down. But Jaka clearly knows what he is doing. He sort of hears you thundering around behind him and brings his glaive up and sort of over his shoulders, and your hammerhead just crunches into the wood of the shaft and doesn't break it. A surprisingly durable shaft. At which point he brings up one of his talons and back kicks it into your thigh. It doesn't do any damage, but it does sort of stagger you a bit as you take a step back. So that was your movement and your action. I believe that's everything from you.
Just gonna see. Hang on. Where is it? I was using it earlier. There we are. All right. If I did my things right. Ding. All right. I have a 10-foot radial. Would that hit them, or is it because the verticality it would not hit them?
They are too high up. It wouldn't hit them if you're going to do Daunting Roar.
Yeah, that was the plan. All right. Too
you
far.
still have 5 foot of movement, so you could move a little to the.
Oh, you mean move here?
Yeah.
But isn't
Now
that a slope?
That is a vertical slope.
Ah,
Last I
okay,
checked, you
sorry.
cannot stand on a vertical slope.
I'm not a goat. Yeah.
You are not a goat, correct. We don't have a goat race in this game. I might change that one day, but we don't right now. So,
Okay.
all right, so in that case, I believe that is your turn then.
Yep, no,
right.
there is another thing I could do, but nope, that's
All right, Boron, you're up.
Damn it. All right. So basically, all this space. I can't. Can't I? No, I can't. Well, anyway. So the spaces to the right of Kari, Jaka, and Ludviek are that slope, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Like, it's not like a full 90 degrees, but it is steep enough that you cannot stand on it. You could try to ascend it. I'd necessitate, I believe, an acrobatics to climb up it.
Yeah. I can climb up with athletics, I believe, but athletics covers climb.
And Oblivion absolutely poisoned my understanding of athletics and acrobatics.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to move. Why is it? How do you draw a fucking line?
Did you click the ruler button over on the left?
No.
There is a ruler button on the left, under the T.
Yeah.
Which is under the brush.
Line.
Which is under the hand, which is under the
I
arrow.
want to... That's not mine down there. Okay, you're just messing with me.
Yes.
Okay.
10-minute warning.
I want to move here.
All right. To get there, athletics check for me, please.
Okay. Athletics. That's the only skill I have decently.
Yeah, no,
16.
that does it. The DC was 12. So you kind of go charging forward and sort of like use your impressive weight to almost kind of like just like create footholds for your feet as you just jab your toe into the stone and then up again and then fall yourself over and just kind of come up to a roll that brings you right up in front of the smirk. It's like, ah!
I was trying to use the back of my eggs, but that's okay. This archer dude is already hurt.
Correct.
From the spell. I'm gonna do a melee attack against this guy.
All right, against the archer.
Correct.
All right. Roll it.
A 13
Jeez. Will hit. Give me damage.
Ooh, okay. Very good.
7.
7.
That is exactly how many hit points he had left.
Yes.
Okay.
So you bring your axe, so as you come out of that roll, you can bring your axe around into the back of his neck as he's sort of turning to try and face you, and sort of almost cleave it from his shoulders, and he just slumps. Unless you wanted to go non-lethal. That's your call.
Now, actually, I'm going lethal for now.
Okay, so yeah, you almost take off this guy's head and he drops. Minnove,
Okay.
you're up.
I do have another 5 foot of movement, right?
I believe... We'll say no because of the jump.
Okay. Okay, makes sense. Then I don't think I have a good bonus action I can do. Okay.
All right, Minnove, you're up.
Do I see Jaka a lot clearer now?
I'm gonna move you a bit so that you're not standing on a slope. I'd say you could easily get into a position where you can see him. The sort of little shadowed spot sort of obscured by this tree here, you can traverse that, so you have a space that you can kind of move through.
Okay. I will go to the best vantage point then. So
Okay.
right around here then.
All right, so that spot is like directly where the tree trunk is, so it would be like either here or here. All right, so you kind of come around the bend and you see Jaka being ganged up on by Ludviek and Kari, but holding his own, all things considered.
It's funny you say holding.
Ooh,
Yes,
hold person.
So a DC of 13.
And that is a wisdom save?
Wisdom saving throw, yeah.
Hold on a second. It seems I accidentally mistyped one of his ability scores. His wisdom is not supposed to be 1.
Oh.
I win!
No,
of course
no,
it is.
no,
Of course his
no.
wisdom score is 1. He decided to fight us.
Actually,
You decided to
that's
fight
debatable.
him. It's the other way. Anyway,
True.
so... Yeah, alright, so I'll just default it to 10 because I can't remember what I originally plugged in. So he will roll a 17. He succeeds.
God, I will utter my breath in like such the quietest language, like fuck you. And with that, I'm gonna be giving my last bardic inspiration to let's say Kari, as Kari kind of hears me say, fuck.
And upon the note of Kari, it is Kari's go.
Kari is all right, everyone. See, here's the thing. Unfortunately, in 5th edition, drawing a weapon takes time, and Kari is not holding any. So Kari is going to go for the tried and true avian method of combat. Kari is going to try to grab, like, Jaka's base beak and then go for a good old peck at the eyeball.
So is this an unarmed strike?
How unarmed is a bird beak?
I mean, it's not a...
Unarmed.
It's
Not the sword.
It's not a sword. That's true.
It's not an arm either.
You
It's
can
not
draw
wielded
your
by-
weapon as a free interact action once per turn.
That is true.
Just
Yeah, so you can draw your weapon.
In that case, we're not gonna go for that yet.
That's funny.
um,
but
So
Go for the eyes!
Instead, we're gonna go for and I'm turning inspiration on. Oh, it's a bardic inspirations. So instead, Kari's gonna, I guess, just go for the good old slashing draw with the rapier.
all right. Attack roll.
I mean, it's not Dark Souls. He's not going to attack roll.
Dude, come on. We got 6 minutes. All right. A 24 to hit. Will hit.
nice.
Roll damage.
All right. I would like to flavor it as this is happening when Jaka's turning to block the hammer from Ludviek.
All right.
So it'd be like across his back.
Well, he doesn't turn around. He blocks it while keeping his attention on you at the moment.
Well, never mind that across his front.
Yeah, so, like, the breastplate absorbs the worst of it, but it's still a very well-angled slice, and you leave a very notable gash sort of in his exposed belly under where the breastplate sort of cuts off, drawing a hiss of pain from him. Ah!
He's then going to... Oh, let me check one thing. Okay. Kari's then gonna spit in his face.
I will allow that as a free action that does nothing.
Good.
All right, let's see here. So, I believe that is your turn unless you want to use your movement.
No.
Okay. All right. So, now over here we have a merc who's just gonna take an action to dash. So that's his full turn. You have another merc sort of charging your location. Now we have Korevas over here in the tower, who, hearing the fighting break out, is going to glance down at the boy. Stay put. You know I can find you. And then he is going to make for the entrance. And is basically going to just, like, forcefully shove past you, Tuki. So are you, like, just getting out of his way, or what?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so you step aside, and Korevas is going to... and is going to take a dash action to move another 35 feet to keep moving towards the rest of the group.
With that, can I use my held action to slip into the tower and head towards the boy?
Yes, you can.
Excellent. Let's see if I can get that. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. 30.
All right, so you go rushing into the tower as the battle is breaking out outside. You come to a stop as you lay eyes on the boy who raises his eyes to look up at you, sort of stiffens a bit.
It's alright. I'm here to take you home, and I, if you'll allow, will show the blanket and the teddy bear that I took with me.
I'll allow that as just a free thing. So, as it is, with that sort of done, I actually need to make so you can. There we go. So, with that in mind, as you have come in front of the boy and shown him those items of personal belonging as the battle is breaking out, regrettably, we are out of time, which means we will have to pick this up next time. So, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us for this session of Ringlight Fables. I sincerely hope none of the audio got screwed up, but even if it did, I don't know. If it got screwed up, then I'll be very angry. But regardless, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Until then, take care of yourselves, keep listening, and don't be a dick. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.